Hi class, this is group 4. We are working on adolescent and child consent and counseling. My name is Heather Bedell.
I'm Ashley Bain.
Renata Bisondat.
So the case study I proposed to the class was a 16-year-old girl named Stacy who was requested by her professor to see a school counselor. She was falling asleep in class and her grades were diminishing. She gave informed consent to the counselor regarding the assessment methods, diagnostics, treatment, and consequences, as well as breaking confidentiality. And her mother also gave consent for her to see the counselor, and information can be provided as applicable. Disclosed in counseling was that her mother was getting in altercations with her boyfriend, and it led into physical abuse. Stacy was staying up at night and is afraid that this abuse is going to be projected onto her. So my question to the class was, what ethical and legal concerns does the counselor have, as well as what's the best route to take moving forward?
I guess starting to answer that question, the ethical concerns that the council would have is, first off, whether breaking confidentiality or not would cause this distrust, because you really don't want to break a therapeutic bond. She's coming to seek help. She's trying to trust in you that you will help her out. But also, you have to consider her safety as well, right? Not just her feelings, but her actual safety, because she is in fear, and it's a legit fear as well, legitimate fear that she might be the next person that this boyfriend, her mom's boyfriend, would take his anger out on. So definitely I get that the council will have to see, well, am I ethically responsible with this, or with keeping the 16-year-old's troubles confidential, or with that as well, in addition to I have an ethical responsibility to keep her physically safe as well, not just emotionally.
And confidentiality is definitely a key foundation to maintain a healthy therapeutic relationship. And with Stacy's case, it's the situation with her mom and her boyfriend. It definitely has a negative effect on her, hence her academics, her safety, her health, and loss of sleep. So it definitely would be an appropriate response to break the confidentiality in order to help her get through all of this and avoid any future physical problems that may happen, because nothing's happened yet, but it's good that there was an intervention with counseling so nothing would harm her in the future.
Yeah, and building upon that, I guess, in my opinion, the best actions for the counselor to take is to report this to the appropriate authorities. Because what if this counselor doesn't? What if this counselor just does talk therapy? What if they just work through the emotions, but they never actually fix or help this situation at home? Every night she has to go home, and she has to be afraid, and every night there is a crime being committed. Not every night, but relatively there's a crime being committed in this house. So definitely reporting this to the authorities, because her life is in danger and she doesn't feel safe, I think will be the main action that this counselor should be taking. And I know we have to ask you a question as well, and so you've done a lot of research on this, more so than we have, so I was wondering, I guess, to what point does the mom have a right to know that the counselor is going to report this, or does she have a right to know the counselor is going to report this?
Well, the counselor needs to make it clear to the client that they are going to report. You can't just kind of blindside your client for many ethical reasons. One, breaking that therapeutic trust, especially with children and adolescents. They have a really hard time disclosing to other people because they are afraid that their parents are going to find out, that they're going to get in trouble. So, and depending on different state laws and statutes or organizational regulations, the client needs to be aware of any action that the counselor is going to take, as well as the parent of the adolescent needs to know if this action is going to be taken, just because it is their lives that are that are going to be changed. And you also want to respect the mother-daughter relationship. As Stacey had said, this is the happiest she's seen her mom, and she doesn't want to interrupt that, but at the same time, if she's being physically abused and emotionally abused,
Right.
there's a line that you have to draw. So I guess just depending on legality and the safety, it's all about the well-being of your client. So actions moving forward, you would want to make sure that the client knows, most importantly, and then also, trying to further the therapeutic relationship by offering to continue seeing her and potentially seeing the mother together so they can work through it together. Or if you're incapable of doing family counseling, you don't have the competency as a counselor, then I would suggest a referral. But once again, if that therapeutic relationship is broken, the adolescent might have a hard time disclosing information to another counselor. So it's something they have to think about.
It would be a good idea to, like what you said before with the helplessness with the mother and daughter bond, because the mother and daughter bond is so unique. Like, it's so precious. You can't, break that. So I like what you said with family counseling. It would be a good intervention to give her an insight on how her daughter's feeling about her boyfriend coming into the house middle of the night, causing problems, That would be a good idea.
And you don't 100% know what is exactly going on in the household.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's important to have the mother, but you can't, you would get in more legal trouble, or you could be sued, you could lose your license if you didn't disclose this information and the child was harmed under your supervision. So it's best to kind of take that measure, at least notifying an authority to take care of it versus stepping back and having something happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the most important
That is true.
regard.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.